Alright, hey guys, JMO here. Part 15, last of the intermediates. We're going to bust this one out. If you've been using the tools in your belt as we've been building them up, this part should seem pretty easy. But as always, we'll try to incorporate new tools to add to the belt and make it so that you can continue to grow. So let's check this out. We've got A here, B here, C is the height of the part. So this part's obviously they want to be able to extend it and maybe blow it up. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe down the line someone would add a variable to the angle. In fact, we could do that now just for fun. Let's say theta is equal to 150 at the start. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And then we can change this here. We can just call this theta. Or honestly, I think I can just delete this and I can put in the theta. Okay. So that works with me there. Not a hard part to build, I don't think, but using the new tools we'll add to the belt, I think will build up our skills a bit. So let's bust this thing out and see what we get. New part. Millimeters. Equations. A was 50, B was also 50, C was 10. Oh, we didn't add theta. We'll just call it T. We'll make it a little easier, right? And it was 150 to start. Okay, let's double check our origin point so we know exactly what we are doing here. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because when you use the line tool, there's kind of a certain way you do it. And you'll see here now, we grab this line and we'll make it horizontal there. This is equal to A. Then we had this down here, and this was equal to B. And then the angle between them is T. Perfect. All right, so that's basically all we need for this right now, right? Well, I mean, we would normally box this in. It basically is the big change we're making here. That way it was a sealed box, and then we'd extrude that. But when we try to extrude a line like this, you can kind of see what it likes to do. Oh, that didn't work here. There we go. I think it was carrying over a thing I did from last time, so it didn't automatically jump. But you'll see it in yours. It should automatically jump to blind and show you this kind of proportionality here. We don't really want it blind, though. We do want it mid-plane, and you can tell that this origin point's wrong. We got to flip that thing. So let's use this here. That brings it up. I believe the length of the part, oh, that's the thickness. We don't want to change the thickness like that. We want the width of it was 30. Yeah, that sounds right. It looks right too. Let's double check. Okay, 30. Let's go left to right with the features here. So starting at the left, we have this little rounded out notch. We see it's R radius times 4 of 5. Sorry if that sounded jumbled, but we also know this distance is 5, and we know this is 30, so 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 minus 30 is 5, so all these lengths are 5. So what this tells me is we could make a box 10 by 10 here, and then round it out at 5, and then the edges here should be equal to 5. So let's put that in. I think the best way to do this would be to sketch on the top plane here. Let's make this box 10 by 10. Let's put the exact dimensions they put in there too, right? Let's not do anything weird. Ooh, I don't like the way that looks though. Let's push that out and you'll see why. You'll see why. Yeah. Yeah, see that line is 5, but this radius is also 5. So it's got to be out 10. And if you catch things like that that don't look right, make sure to fix them. Okay, so we're going to extrude cut this, and then we're going to fillet it to round out those edges. Easy. So, and I think we could have also in this sketch. Let's double check this. Maybe I haven't shown you anything like this yet, but I believe this could also be done. Sorry if this is incorrect, but we could fillet this. I would need to draw this line here. I believe this will work. Yeah, and then I think we could. Yeah, and that would work. and then we could go to those 2 lines, and we could do each one like that. But I think that's a little more work, right? You could tell that was already kind of more work, but you can sketch fillet as well. Well, let's go back. Ooh. Oh, it's thinking there's a gap there now. Interesting. Okay, not a problem. Quick fix. Quick fix, right, guys? Quick fix. Sorry about that little excursion, but I kind of had that idea in my head that we could do that, and I wanted to make sure you guys saw that extra little tool. So even if it doesn't always work out, it's kind of fun to see all the little different ways people can do things within this program. Okay, and that should allow us to cut extrude. And this is what I mean earlier. This is much easier in the features to come here and at the end just fillet all your angles or edges here out of 4 times 5. Yeah, it was much quicker, right? But you could do it the other way, and maybe there's another way in a sketch where you'd want to just quickly edge out 2 lines like that and fill it. So, all right, let's make this linear pattern here that they have going on here with these lines. So we have a 2.5 distance. They're 5 wide. It's 12.5 from the edge. This whole thing is 30. Yeah, so that makes sense. We could easily draw this box. We could get the 2.5. We could get the 5, and we could linearly pattern it 3 times. And I think just twice, actually, if I'm saying that right. But we'll double check in the feature menu and pop that in there. I know people, like I mentioned before, some don't like to do linear sketch patterns within the sketch. I don't mind either way. But in this one, I do believe it is a bit easier to do it as a feature. So let's make sure to do it like that. I think those are 20. We'll double check that. This was 5. These are 5. And this was 2.5. Yeah, that looks right. Let's double check the length. They're 25. Glad I double checked that. Okay, so let's make that cut. Boom, easy. And now we go right up to the linear pattern for that last feature, and you see what it wants to do. It wants the direction, like most things, like the circular one. What's the circularity to it? We get this line because it's in line with what we're doing, linearly speaking. No pun intended on that one. But let's flip that. And that actually looks good. I thought the distance between them was 5, but you know what? I think it is 12.5, 2, and 5. Yeah, so it's a 10 distance if they're 5 wide. So we can make that cut, and that looks pretty good to me. Let's double check that last edge is also 2.5. Normal distance between them, 2.5 is that purple bar. All right, let's draw this last piece. I do believe this circle was coming off of B because it wasn't measured in relation to it. So we can put that there. I think it'd be best to actually do the half moon here, mainly because we're not going to be able to put the circle in there and extrude that out because we'd only get a half moon extrusion if you see what I'm talking about there. You can go, if you don't see what I'm talking about, you can go mess with that and double check it and see, but I do believe it would not do what we want it to. And now those feet, all that will merge together. Now let's make this little circular cut because now we'll cut through everything that we have just extruded. Following up on that last thought there. It looked central. It looked about 10, but let's double check what that was. We can just quickly extrude cut that out and then be done with it. All right, let's double check that. Yeah, true radius of 5, so it's 10. All right, our part's good. I believe it's steel, but let's specify that as a steel alloy or alloy steel. That works with me. Looks good. We got the origin right. We got everything cut in there. All right. Not a bad part. Good work, guys. If you got it up to this point, let's finish up with best practices here. Pause the video at the start if you like. Go over the dimensions for any of these. I know it's kind of weird I mentioned these at the end, but I figure as you build your tools, you might want to try the next one. So I'm kind of like reminding you before you even get started in the next one. Maybe we'll shake it up one day and put this at the start, but pause it, check it out, check the mass properties in the description, see if yours match. If they do, cool. If not, go watch the video in full detail, double check everything, make sure you didn't mess up. Make sure I didn't mess up. I make mistakes too. I've had to redo these videos once or twice because I've noticed a mistake I made. So always double check your work and make sure you're rolling along smoothly. Okay, I think what we're going to do here is we're going to change A to 75, B to 75, C will be, let's say 15, And then we'll change theta to 165, and then we'll double check those mass properties. And as always, I'll put in the description too what you're going to make changes to, so you don't have to watch the whole video if you don't want to go through all this, and you might know what you're doing. You just want some extra practice before your test. Cool. All right, guys. Appreciate it. We will see you for the next one, the first of the advanced parts. Thanks, guys.